Are you jumping into coding way too soon? Think of the first time you thought of an app idea. Did you immediately think that you need to find someone to build it? Well, if you did, you are not the only one. In this video, I will share with you why jumping into coding your apps and software projects too early is one of the biggest and costliest mistakes you can make. Let's go. Hi, I'm Nelly Yusupova, CTO, Startup Tech Advisor, and creator of TechSpeak for Entrepreneurs. For over 18 years, I've been helping non-technical entrepreneurs avoid costly technology mistakes and helping them gain the skills that they need to become more capable, competent, and confident tech entrepreneurs, which helps them be less cautious, take bigger risks, and seize more opportunities. Nelly, I have an amazing idea for an app. Where can I find a developer? That's the question that I get from non-technical startup founders almost on a daily basis. One of the biggest and most expensive mistakes that I see entrepreneurs make is wanting to hire a developer to start writing code way too soon. They think that they have a great idea and that it could be a painkiller of an idea. And they think that they need to find a developer and start coding right away. Quick, hurry, code. In a 10-step development process that I use and teach, writing code is actually step number 8, which means that there are 7 steps to take before even a line of code is written. Doing these 7 steps will make writing the code so much more efficient, so much easier for the developer. And if you do these steps, well then, you'll also save a ton of time and a ton of money. Before I go through the 7 steps that you need to execute before writing code, first I'd like to share with you the philosophy behind each of the 10 steps. I'm a big proponent of the lean and agile way of building products because they will allow you to execute faster in an iterative fashion. The mantra and the philosophy behind this process is learn early, learn often, and learn cheap. For startups, especially the early stage ones, learning quickly is really important because the faster you learn something, the faster you will learn if you're headed in the right direction. You don't want to spend a ton of time and money going in the wrong direction. With that, here are the 7 steps that you will need to execute before writing code. The first step is to validate and refine your idea. Most non-technical founders think that building the technology is the hardest thing. But in fact, identifying a problem big enough with a customer base that's willing to pay to solve that problem is the hardest thing. You can have the best technology, but if no one is interested in buying or using it, then, well, you don't have a business. Most people build a product and then try to find a market for it. Idea validation flips that thinking and tells us to find the problem first and build a product that will directly solve that problem. And if you're able to find a problem big enough, you will have a much easier time getting users not only to use your product, but also to pay for it. Validation will help you learn key details and insights about your product, the industry, and the customer segment, without which you would build so much more functionality than necessary and ultimately waste a ton of money recoding later because you would eventually learn these insights, but only after the product is built. I personally validate not only brand new product ideas. Every single feature for an existing product goes through this step. It's absolutely crucial and will inform every single decision for the rest of the product development steps that I'll be talking about. Once you validate the idea, you'll need to refine the solution by first building an interactive prototype of the solution. And then you'll refine that solution by getting feedback from potential customers. Prototyping simply means building a realistic looking and an interactive version of your solution without actually writing code. Just guessing what solution will resonate with your potential customers will always result in rewriting code. Remember, coding is expensive. Recoding is even more expensive. As a non-technical person, you can learn how to build these prototypes without writing a line of code, and they will be very realistic, meaning you can load them on your phone or a tablet and allow your potential customers to interact with the application as though it was real. Every entrepreneur that I taught validation and prototyping skills to found it so empowering because these 2 skills will give you the freedom to independently test your own ideas without having to engage with a developer. Again, don't build anything until you refine the idea and the solution. You will waste your time and money if you jump into coding because you'll end up building a lot of unnecessary features and functionalities that your customers won't end up using, resulting in a lot of wasted development. Once you have refined the idea and the solution, you are now ready to define, build, and deploy your solution. Steps 3 to 7 is where you will define your MVP and plan and prepare for development. By definition, an MVP is the smallest number of features that you can launch with that will still provide value to your customers. But simply reducing the number of features that you launch with from, let's say, 20 to 4 is not enough. Let me show you why. Have you ever wondered how the same project can be estimated to cost $10,000 and $50,000, and both estimates could be completely legitimate? That's because the details of what and how you build something matter a lot. If you know how to define, estimate, and budget projects properly and understand what affects the cost of development, you can strategically choose what and how to build something based on your time and cost constraints. This includes picking the right tools and technologies for building the MVP, and it doesn't actually mean that you have to custom code everything. Using development cost reducing strategies, one of my students was able to reduce the cost of her MVP from $50,000 to $15,000 and cut the development time from 4 months to 2. And finally, in step number 8 and 9, ding, 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 this is where your developers will start writing code, and you and your project manager will manage your development team to build and deploy your MVP based on all of the things that you've planned and defined in your first 7 steps. If you're patient and you complete the previous 7 steps, this is going to be the easy part. Here, you should use an agile project management process. This will allow you to get working code from developers in at most 2 weeks. Imagine that, working code every 2 weeks. The beauty of agile project management is seeing the mistakes earlier and course correcting sooner. Keep in mind that there are many different flavors of agile, and many companies will claim that they do it well. But when you look under the hood, that's a different story. And I've personally looked under the hood of some of the most popular agencies in New York City, and I've worked with some of them to improve their agile process. And finally, in step 10, you are going to set up analytics so that instead of guessing, you can use data to make product improvement decisions. So to summarize, don't make the mistake of jumping into coding too early. Validate your idea and the solution. Define your MVP based on your time and cost constraints. Manage the developers effectively and iterate to success. Do you want to learn the skills to become a more competent and confident tech entrepreneur? Then check out the free resources and webinars that I offer on this topic. I'll include the link in the description. And make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when new video episodes are released. See you next week.